Hello there, welcome to another wee bit different video. Today's video, we are going to be doing small forward tier list for the NBA. We've done point guard, we've done shooting guard, and I liked those lists a lot. So hopefully we can do a list here that I can look back at and be like, that was a good list. So without further ado, let's go right into it. First we have here Bogey. I'm going to put him at C tier because solid player who can be a key role player on certain teams, but nothing too crazy about him. Really solid 3-point shot. Just a C tier level player though. Chris Duarte, young player, at times can look like a solid scorer, but I would say give him some more time before he can really have more input on that, because he hasn't shown that he can really do it just yet. But yeah, moving forward. Deandre Hunter, another player, young player. Well, what is he going on? Like 22 now, 23? What's his age? Curious. Deandre Hunter. 24. He had a solid little playoff run. Can hit a wide open three. Defensively, pretty solid. Just a lot of unproven abilities. So C tier again. Demar Derozan, A tier, knocking on S tier just because of the crazy season he had. Looked amazing. Scoring was on another level. He is the king of mid-range. I don't care what anyone says. Demar Derozan is a baller. Devin Vassell again. He was also on the shooting guard list. It's another Killian Hayes thing. He was on the point guard and shooting guard. But yeah, C tier. I'm pretty sure that's what I had him on last time for shooting guards. Denny, very, very, very unproven. I think he averaged like 6 points on like 24 minutes. Just doesn't have the it factor so far. That could change. Very young player, and he could, eventually come up to these higher lists. But for now, he's a D tier because you're averaging 6 points on the Wizards on, I believe, like around 24 minutes a game. Yeah, it's not going to get it done. Dylan Brooks, he could be, no, he can't be higher because he just makes too many boneheaded mistakes. Shots that are unwarranted. Can score at a pretty solid clip, but got to be more of a team player, if I'm allowed to say that. Yeah. Dorian Finney-Smith, solid role player just because he can defend really well and he can hit an open three, which is really all that you ask of players like him. Go find your spot. Let Luka do his work. Luka gets doubled or he's penetrating and has help side there. Pass it out to someone like Reggie Bullock. If Reggie Bullock's not looking, swing it, Dorian. Or you could just flat out pass it to Dorian if he's open off the rip. And Dorian will probably knock it down. So, yeah. Dorian Finney-Smith, C tier. Franz Bogner, I believe he made all rookie first team. As time goes, he'll go higher. But didn't wow anyone. More so just a steady, consistent player, making the right decisions and really fundamentally sound. Harrison Barnes. What? Honestly, I'm not going to lie. What did Harrison Barnes do all that much last season? Let's find out. Let's find out. 16.4 points per game. 77 games played. Yeah, I could never have put him a D tier. I just, it's the king. So you really just, to be blunt, you just don't see a lot from him. But Harrison Barnes, there you have it. Gordon Hayward, creeping on D tier just because the guy can never stay healthy. And I'm sorry, but at some point you have to step on the court to be ranked as anything. When he is healthy, he's not what he once was on the Jazz, but he's okay. BI, Man's creeping on A tier. If he's not low A, he's high B. For now, this could very much change. I could put him at low A depending on how this list goes. For now, I'm going to have him at the top of B because this guy is super, super, super good. I talk as if he's A already when I say super, super, super. Problem is that there are a lot of others on this list, a lot of other players on this list who take super, super good to a whole nother level. And I don't think BI is there just yet. But we'll see, because defensively, he has a solid wingspan and he can get his arms out, just not laterally quick, to be honest. But he is another mid-range shooter who is just phenomenal. He needs to develop a much more consistent three-point shot to take it to the next level. For now, though, he's in high B. Jabari Smith, rookie. We have to wait till he takes his first steps onto that court in an official regular season game. So for now, he's at C. You just don't know. Jaden McDaniel, another super young player. A lot of players on C tier, my goodness. But just super young player. You don't want to put too much pressure on him by expecting the most out of him this soon. But Timberwolves kind of traded for Rudy Gobert, making it look like a win now scenario. So pressure's going to be on him realistically. Jimmy Butler S tier. Didn't have the most number efficient season, but when this guy wants to turn it on, it's just he hits another level. If there's any baseball watchers here, there's this guy named Shohei Ohtani. When there are runners in scoring position, and if you don't watch baseball, let me describe. So there's three bases, obviously. When someone's on second base, that's considered scoring position. When Shohei Ohtani is on the mound with runners in scoring position, he turns his game to another level. Like, seriously, that's what Jimmy Butler does. When he has the moment, he seizes it. Like, really, he can just turn it on. And you saw what he did in the playoffs. Regular season, he did not do that consistently. But my goodness, he just goes in and is ruthless. Like, really, Jimmy Butler is ruthless. So yeah, he reminds me of Shohei in the sense that there is never a moment that's too big for him, really. There's just really not. Jimmy Butler is that guy. Moving forward, Josh Hart. A lot of C-tier players, but it's because these are your more average players. And if you're a starter, you're a more average player. So makes sense, but there you have it. Not a lot on Josh Hart. Great hustler. Just doesn't necessarily translate to being a good player because he has the tools, it feels like at times, but there's times where he can be non-existent. I would definitely going to put Josh Hart higher than that, but yeah, Josh Hart's probably one of the better players on this C-tier list just because he's capable of scoring at high volumes at times, and he's a solid defender, but he's definitely not a B tier. He is not anywhere near BI's level. Kawhi Leonard, S tier. People might be like, he didn't play last season. I don't care if he hasn't played in 2 seasons. He could pull a John Wall, and I'm going to tell you the same thing. Kawhi Leonard is an S tier player. This guy is insanely good on the offensive end, and he is one of the best defenders on the defensive end. What more can you ask for? A complete two-way player, like complete. He can guard 1 through 4, and he can score at every spot on that court. So, Kawhi Leonard, S tier, definitely. Kevin Durant, you know where he's going. I know where you know where he's going. I don't know if he's better than. I don't know who I'm gonna put is better, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, because they're both so amazing. They're the definition of superstars. They put the super in stars, seriously, and that is just, ooh. Chris Middleton, definitely a B tier. He is not as good as DeMar DeRozan, but he's their closer. He is the Bucks closer. Also is their scorer. He may not average more than Giannis, but He's the guy that they like to put in ISO ball, and he's the guy that, when the shot clock's running down or game clock is running down, they're going to get him the ball. He is the closer. Lauri Markkanen, C tier, got a killer 3-point stroke. Yeah, not much else to say on him. LeBron freaking James. Hey, KD, come on, man. Got to make room for the GOAT. That's my opinion. A lot of people say Jordan. That's cool. I'm always going to say Bron until another player comes along and takes that crown off his head. Lou Dort. I honestly want to say he's B tier. I really do. That might be a hot take, but hear me out. Y'all don't know that he's B tier because y'all don't watch the Thunder. And nobody wants to watch the Thunder because they're a team that's young and they're planning for the future. But if you watch this guy play, he has become someone who can actually score now, hit a three, and defensively, oh my goodness, one of the best one-on-one defenders, on-ball defenders in the NBA. He is really, really, really good. And a lot of people don't know about him because they don't watch the Thunder. And I don't blame them because they're not a competitive team. But if you watch Lou Dort, oh man, you know what I'm talking about. Macau Bridges, another B tier player. That might seem too high for some of you, but I put a big emphasis on players who can defend because it's harder to come by a starting player who can defend at that high of a level and then have a relatively decent offensive game. Macau Bridges, a candidate for the Defensive Player of the Year. In my opinion, he should have won it. But my gosh, he puts people in a cage. Like, seriously, nowhere to go. He does not leave a lot of room. And even when players hit shots on him, his hand is in their face. His hand, like if you watch the playoff series, he was guarding BI very well. BI just hit some really, really, really hard and difficult shots. At the end of the day, great offense does beat great defense. Macau Bridges, insanely phenomenal defensive player, and offensively, he can do it. It's just hard to really show it all the time because you have a guy like Devin Booker and Chris Paul who's facilitating and is ball dominant, and DeAndre Ayton who doesn't get the ball all the time, but when it goes down low, it's going to him. So, yeah, Macau Bridges, great player. MPJ, Michael Porter Jr., when healthy here, definitely because he's just a player that is uber talented, showcases his abilities when healthy. But, the same question out of college, which NBA scouts are questioning, was can this guy stay healthy? Is the same question that we're asking him today. Can he stay healthy? If he does, well, you know where he's at. OG. I don't know if I think he's better than a lot of these players. Am I being too generous by putting him at the lowest B? But I believe genuinely he's better than all these other players. I might be disrespecting Dillon Brooks a little too much. I really might be. But I just think he's just a knucklehead and he can't defend. So it's like, I really don't know. I seriously don't. He averaged about 16 points per game, and he can defend on a really solid team. I am gonna say okay, yeah. BI is going to A. Chris Middleton might deserve to go to A if I'm gonna put OG in B. Now I've got myself in a pickle. This is really tough. This is actually really tough to having to rank these players in particular because, I mean, think about it. The B tier is just like there's very average players in your C tier. The B tier is you have players who, like Chris Middleton, who could definitely jump to A. BI, now looking at the rest of these players and where they are, BI is definitely an A, a definitive low A, but he's definitely in the A. Let's move on and see how the rest of this goes before I make my final decisions. RJ Barrett, I don't know why I spaced that. Definitely a B tier. He elevated his game so much post All-Star break and became someone who they could honestly rely on a lot more. And definitely a B tier player for sure. Another name I'm forgetting. Why am I forgetting this? Sadiq Bey. Solid scorer. But he's on the Pistons, and the Pistons don't have anyone else other than Cade who are scoring like that. So C tier for now. I'm gonna say he's average, but he might be a player that you could watch out to go to B. Jason Tatum's obviously an S tier. I mean, yes, he had a meltdown in the NBA Finals, not showing up, but night in and night out, that guy was just putting on a show. So no doubt S tier. Tobias Harris, I'm going to say C tier. If you asked me before this season, I might have said low B, or before 2 seasons ago, low B, but he is just proven to be beyond inconsistent, and it's kind of just not, it's not good for any Philly fans out there. Andrew Wiggins is definitely a B tier now. He has elevated his game on the Warriors squad. Playing with Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson, will elevate your game like that. Not much of a surprise that under a Steve Kerr led team, this guy can turn it around. I'm not really surprised at all. He just always had the tools, and he had it at his disposal. Just never really put it all together. But you could see in this entire playoff run and the season in general, this is a place where he definitely belongs because they utilize him and they help him be who he should have been from the beginning, which is a player who can rebound a lot better, a player who can defend a lot better, and a player who can score 17 points almost all the time. But yeah, looking at this list, I'm definitely less confident in some of these B decisions. Like, Gordon Hayward might have to go down to D. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see Chris. Let me see this. Yeah, he's definitely not moving down on his rookie season. Oh, man. It's just I feel like the starting small forwards in general are just a lot better than some of these, than point guards and shooting guards, because these are all players that are definitely assets. Maybe aside from Denny. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this list the way it is. Small forwards are a position of power, as you can see. Just looking at, I think this is the highest. I don't remember my point guards list if I had 5 players in S tier, but we got 5 players in S tier on small forward. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Jason Tatum, and Jimmy Butler. So yeah, man, I feel relatively happy with this list. There's some players that I'm iffy about, not gonna lie. But I think this is a solid list. So, without further ado, this has always been different. We been different. And we out.